I like to say welcome to everyone. I just want to say that Richard and Gwen will not be with us tonight. Richard was taken to the hospital yesterday and he was to have surgery scheduled sometime today. I have not heard anything more than that. But what I would ask everyone to do is keep well wishes for Richard and good wishes for Gwen as she's going through this time with Richard. So with that, I just like to say, let's think good thoughts for them. One of the things that I learned in 1968, some of you or all of you weren't around in 1968, but was the first time I heard the phrase by George Bernard Shaw, and it goes something like this. Some see things as they are and ask why. Others dream dreams that never were and ask why not. So my challenge to you as an incoming board is to be dreamers. Dream things that never were and say, why not? Let's make it happen for the kids in the Florida district. So with that, Allie, you want to start the slides? Well, to begin with, this review the responsibilities of the president-elect, having served, the president-elect has served as vice president and president-elect, and then president. And the president-elect is responsible for the training of the trustees. That's what we're doing tonight. And in the past, we always had a one morning in conjunction with the Lieutenant Governor's Training Conference over in Sanford. So who knows what the future will hold for us in the year 2022. The president-elect also serves as a member of the Nominating, Finance, as well as the Advisory Committee. And one of the other areas that the president-elect does is serves in case of a vacancy of a chairman until a chair of a committee can be appointed and ratified by the board. And just as you know, all our committees, including our chairs, are ratified by our board, typically done in conjunction with our August board meeting. Also, responsibility for fundraising activities and development is the sustaining membership giving programs and any other potential giving programs that might come along that might be referred to the president-elect. And I can say, after reading the August financials, and I should say that the August financials were sent to your executive committee and your finance committee, and they have been done every month once the treasurer has completed those. So as the August report, our budgeted amount for sustaining membership of $25,000. Hey, congratulations, trustees. We exceeded that $25,000, which is great. Also, to work with the president-elect is to work with trustees to help solicit gifts. So if you have someone in your division that might be able to contribute to the foundation, a large sum, small sum, or needs some encouragement, please call upon your president-elect. Allie? Why are we here? We're all here so we can serve as better board members, better trustees, for board development, as in terms of learning about your roles and responsibilities, as serves as a resource tool, and help to develop a vision and a passion for the Florida Kiwanis Foundation. But much more important, if you can't have fun doing it, hey, let's have some fun in dreaming those dreams. Okay. Why are trustees important? You provide the vision the programs and the services at the community level, at your division level. That's critical because that's where all our Kiwanians are at. That's where our service leadership programs are at. You find a close association with your clubs within your division. And you are an essential part of communicating opportunities for funding and giving. So as we move forward into the new year, December 15th, I don't want to steal Tommy's thunder. There's deadline dates, Keith, scholarship dates. You as trustee are important to communicate to your clubs and to your members and to your service leadership programs about grant opportunities as well as scholarship opportunities. Allie? A little brief job description, roles and responsibilities. We'd ask you to make time to attend functions, your 2 board meetings during the course of the year. Participate in your division council meetings because you are the spokesperson in your division for the foundation and the activities. We ask that you come prepared to our board meetings. Allie referred to our trustee portal. She'll be sending information about the portal out to our new trustees. That's a great look. Anytime you're looking for something for the upcoming board meeting, you can go to into the trustee portal and find the minutes of the last meeting, committee reports. You'll find bylaws, policies, and procedures. So everything's at one spot. In the past, Secretary Gwen would send out massive emails with massive reports. So all you need to do, log on. You can copy, print off, or at the board meeting. I know some of you bring laptops or tablets, and you could read the reports during the board meeting as we go along. And also, we ask that you participate in your assigned committee meetings. If you can't attend for some reason, please let your chair or Gwen know that you cannot attend so they can plan, the committee chair can plan accordingly. Allie? The passion. Yeah, I love passion, love the dream, those dreams. Actually, the purpose of the foundation is to support the youth within the Florida district, ensuring them a bright and beautiful legacy. We want to leave a beautiful legacy for the children within the Florida district. Our mission, to ensure caring individuals to combine the resources of time, talent, and treasure to make a greater impact on the needs of children and families within Florida. Our vision, to provide an endowment in which clubs and individuals can contribute that is large enough to meet the needs of children in Florida for eternity. I can say at this present time, we have roughly $5.8 million in our endowment funds. And I'm going to say funds because we have our regular endowment. We have a scholarship endowment. We have the Blackman fund. We have the Baitland fund. So you will be hearing more and more about building the endowment, growing those funds so that we can serve children for eternity. Allie? Our committees. We have our grants committee that you're going to be hearing about. Our bylaws also works on our policies and procedures. Our audit committee is really kind of an independent committee because we have a few board members, few trustees, and a few non-board members. But one thing about the audit committee, you will not find anyone from the finance committee or any of the officers serving on that committee, so that we can have an independent review without any due influence. We also will have advisories committee, our finance committee, Our investment committee meets quarterly to review the financial quarterly reports from our financial managers at US Bank. Our marketing and development committee, we've done some great things over the past few years, new logos, new programs, new excitement to the foundation. Your executive committee consists of your officers, as well as the vice governor of the Florida district, Kiwanis district, as well as 3 trustees. We schedule a meeting once a month. We undertake business that needs pertinent immediate action. If it can wait, it will wait to the board. That's my philosophy. That's what our board was elected to do, conduct the business. Our scholarship committee, Keith, you will be hearing from, as well as we will also have special appointments along the way. Anybody have any questions at this time? Yes.
You mentioned earlier $25,000, 25,000 sustaining members.
$25,000 in income for our sustaining members. So that's roughly, when you think about it, at $25, that's 1,000 members in the Florida district who've committed to become sustaining members.
Okay, that is not just last year. That's not last year's donation.
That is from October 1 of 2020 through the end of August of 2021.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, Allie. Okay, what will we be reviewing on tonight and tomorrow night? We're going to review a little bit about the history of your foundation. And I'm going to say it's your foundation because you, as members of the Florida district, help make up the foundation. We're going to talk about governance, which is our board activities. We'll talk a little bit about committee overview, giving programs, because as I say, I want to say thank you to the donors past, present, and future, because without their gifts, we couldn't be providing grants and scholarships that we are. We're going to be talking a little bit about finance, funds, our various funds that I mentioned, a couple of them earlier, as well as our fundraisers and resources available to you as a trustee. The responsibility of president, Richard was going to be here, but I'll do my best to fill in for Richard. The president serves as the chief executive officer of the foundation. He presides over the foundation board meetings as well as the executive committee. He's an ex officio member of standing committees, of all standing committees, except the audit and nominating committee, because those are some more independent with board members serving on them. Works closely with each of the officers, helping them to succeed and fulfill their duties as appointed and granted to them by the bylaws. Interfaces with the Florida District of Kiwanis officers, as well as the executive director, and is a co-chair of the advisory committee. The other co-chair is the Kiwanis district governor. Okay. A little history. We've been talking about 50th anniversary in 1971, in June of that year. So the year of 2021 is really truly our anniversary year that we're celebrating the great programs and the great vision that Kiwanians had in 1971. So they had some dreams and they made it reality by creating your Florida Kiwanis Foundation. We're recognized as a charitable, not-for-profit organization under 501c3 of the U.S. Revenue Code. That means any funds given to the foundation are charitable contributions, and donors can so therefore deduct them as on their tax returns as charitable contribution. We also received the Florida Consumer Certificate of Exemption for tax exempt purchases. So when the foundation goes out to buy items such as pens, plaques, those types of things, we do not have to pay the Florida sales tax. And it's rather interesting that the first president of the Florida Foundation was Ralph Davis from the Kiwanis Club of Tallahassee. Thus, the Ralph Davis Award $1,000 contribution is named in his honor. Holly? Governance. Our Board of Trustees, with the advice of legal and financial counsel, oversees the process of fundraising, investing, and distributing funds to ensure that the donor gift receives proper attention and used for the intended purpose. So my gift is for the Will and Rachel Baitland Fund to provide grants to Young Children Priority 1 programs. The board and officers must ensure, it actually ensures that was how my gift is being used. We have 6 administrative officers on your foundation board, 27 trustees, 1 for each division, and 5 district representatives. And it should be noted that the president-elect, and vice governor also serve, the foundation serves on the Kiwanis district board as well. And I would say, I think they were wise in selecting, having a trustee for each division to serve on the board. You can bring information to the board that needs attention, as well as sharing information with your clubs and members. Governance. Our governing documents are our bylaws. For example, the process is if we as a foundation board amend those bylaws, they must then be amended, approved. Those amendments must be approved by the Kiwanis District Board, and then those amendments go on to Kiwanis International for approval as well. So it's not as simple as, well, let's just change that rule in the bylaw. So there's some work going on. Plus, we have the policies and procedures, which really kind of are working documents of how we administer our organization. So that's kind of where we're at. The policies and procedures enhance our bylaws. Allie? Foundation's focus is our service leadership programs, scholarship, and grants. We have multiple grants that you will be hearing from Tommy about, as well as our scholarships from Keith during the next 2 nights. Allie? Anybody have questions?
Yeah, I think there was one in the chat. Oh, from Perry. Perry, I will send you over the login information.
Thank you so much.
If there's anyone else too that doesn't have access yet to the trustee portal, we'll be sending that over with helpful screenshots about how to navigate through it as well.
Okay. Moving on. With that, I'd like to introduce the trustee from Division 2, Keith Foran, who is also a past president of your foundation. So with that, Keith, tell us about scholarships.
Thank you, Dan. I'm glad y'all put me ahead of Tommy because I can't follow his passion that he has.
Okay.
Thanks for being here. Thanks to new trustees scholarships to me are really a tool that we can use not only to help those graduating seniors that are excelling in what they do, but also it's a tool we can use as fundraising. Anytime you do something great, that's something you need to be proud of. And when you're asking individuals and clubs for money that we do, scholarships are one of those tools that you can brag on a little bit. I was president of the foundation in 2010, and the question, I think at my last board meeting, came up something about our scholarships. And I said, well, we don't have any. And at that time, we did not have any scholarships that the foundation actually oversaw or collected for and gave out. So I shouldn't have opened my mouth, because the next year I thought I was done. And I was then appointed by the president then as to research and develop at least something to start with on scholarships, in which we did. So our program really is not that old, beginning in 2012. So Allie, the next slide. We currently have 4 scholarships that our committee represents and looks at issues and collects money for, and then cuts checks for the students. You see them there, the J. Walker Field, named after a past Florida governor who really was, I guess, enthused about Key Club, and it is for Key Club students. And we'll talk about these a little more in depth, but then you got the George and Ann Langest Kiwanis Family Scholarship. Chuck and Amelia Guletza has contributed toward a CKI scholarship. And then Maria Machaniuk. And yes, that is how you say that. That's probably the most mispronounced name that we have. So individually, the next slide will start with J. Walker Field. This was the first scholarship we developed, solely funded out of our grants fund. It is not endowed. It's budgeted every year through the finance committee and then through the board as to how many $1,000 scholarships we can give to a Florida Key Club student. Now, this scholarship is performance-based. It's not need-based. So it's based on their GPA, the service hours, an essay that they write to answer some questions, and letter of recommendations. And by the way, we'll update these applications and guidelines soon, just to make sure the dates and all are correct. And they'll be posted on the website and I guess in the trustee portal too. So you can access them, print them out, or email them to whomever. The due date's March 1st on the J. Walker Field. That's the first one we review. So if you're on the scholarship committee, you look about end of February, you're starting to get emails from me. And please respond if you're on the scholarship committee, because we need all the input we can get. Excuse me. Also, if you're, we'll get to that in just a moment, but saying on the due dates that these scholarships have, it's kind of unique that most students seem to wait to the last minute to turn, and it would be good if we could get a few of them earlier. The Maria Machaniuk was an unusual scholarship. We didn't develop it. The Kiwanis Club of Flagler County approached, I guess, one of their financial advisors and told them about the foundation, and they had mentioned it to a client of theirs, Miss Machaniuk, that she could leave part of her estate to the Florida Foundation into a scholarship, and can kind of designate what the requirements were for it. So she lived in Flagler County, and this scholarship was developed. She unfortunately passed away and left us, it was about $350,000. but it was designed for Flagler County students only. It's a pretty good hefty scholarship, totaling about $16,000 for a student over 4 years, and based, not performance-based, but based more on need and those that couldn't qualify for possibly other scholarships. You see the due date is the 15th, and it is an endowed gift. And you see this year's recipient, Trinity DeFalco. We currently have 4 of these going every year. And as one drops off, we have another one going. So the next scholarship is did we miss one? No. We'll go with the George and Langest Scholarship. George Langest, if those of you that have been around Kiwanis for any amount of time, remember George as our longtime secretary of the Florida district. And when he retired, we raised some funds to help endow. Now, we haven't fully funded it, but the Finance Committee budgets the $1,000 a year for 4 years. And this is for a Kiwanis family member, relative. If the student has a mother, father, grandparent, uncle, aunt, or whatever, that's a family member in the Florida district, they can qualify for this scholarship, and it is need-based. The due date there is May 15th. So if you see, all of these scholarships have a little different twist on them as to who can apply and who is more likely to receive them. Now, the J. Walker Field is probably the easiest because those are for those outstanding performing students, and they're used to applying scholarships. We're budgeted to give out 20 of those this year, but the Machaniuk and Langest are only one per year, one new one per year, because they extend on to 4 years. And then the final one is Chuck and Amelia. I think everybody knows who these folks are. They have just fulfilled a promise or a pledge to the foundation for $20,000 to fund a $1,000 scholarship yearly for an outstanding CKI student. And again, it's performance and service based, and it is due, as you see there, on May 30th. Now, I guess one note about our scholarships is that as you are soliciting funds, mention scholarships out there, and that they can be endowed for as little as, well, I guess as little as $10,000. That would, we work on that 5% rule. So if you give $10,000 and it's an endowment and we can take 5% of it, it should last forever. That would be a $500 scholarship. And on up, you know, of course, to 20, to give a $1,000 4-year scholarship, that takes $42,000, because that's, you know, we have $16,000 going at any one point in time. So also use it as a sales tool. Talk to your financial advisors. It's one place that we can endow funds and use them. Now, to give you some idea of what we've done really over the past, since 2012, which is what, not quite 10 years, we've given out 154 scholarships totaling $205,750. So present that to your clubs. It's part of our work and what we do along with our grants. And if anyone has any questions, if you talk to someone that's interested, I'll be glad to work with them on developing a scholarship in their name. And I think the next slide is about questions.
Yeah, could you give us those figures again on the 10 years of scholarships?
Yeah, in fact, I sent Allie a summary of all the scholarships we've given so far. But anyway, we've given out 154 scholarships since 2012. And the total of those is $205,750.
Thank you.
Do we have any specific scholarships that we're trying to fill now that we have designed already? Or do we pretty much go by what the donor wants to do?
Well, if the donor doesn't have any suggestion or, of course, we have to go by what they put in their will or estate or trust or whatever, however the funds come to us. We have to abide by what the donor requests, but most of them have been pretty general. And we developed the guidelines around that. So I guess to answer your questions, we do have to abide by the donor's wishes, unless they just give us the funds, say we wanted a scholarship, and then we could develop something new, different. We are working on some things with the Past Lieutenant Governors Association. They give a couple of scholarships every year, and you'll be hearing more, and you've already heard some about the Spalding and Taylor endowment we're trying to collect for.
Oh, Dennis, go.
Yes.
And that's all I have, unless you got any questions.
Just a comment, Keith. I just want to thank you and the scholarship committee for making it easy in order to get those scholarship checks out. I can only imagine the amount of work you guys do in the background. But writing those checks to those students, that's just one of the better checks I get to write on a yearly basis. So thanks so much to you and the committee for making it easy for us to get the money out as quickly as possible. Let's try that word. So thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yes, and having served on the scholarship committee in my early days of the foundation, many of you don't realize all the behind the scene work that Keith does. And for that, I will be eternally grateful for all your hard work, Keith, as well as the scholarship committee.
Thanks,
So,
Dan. You shouldn't have said anything because I'm trying to get a replacement for me.
Well, hey, let's pause for a moment. One of the things that I am interested in, it's called a succession plan. I've talked with each of the incoming chairs of the committees this year to talk about if something happens, they get hit by a bus or they get called to greater service, as I would say, who on their committee could the torch be passed to? So that's kind of where I'm looking at now with our committee chairs. I don't want to replace anybody. I just think we need to have some type of plan moving forward. So that's a personal goal of mine during this year. So again, thank you, Keith. The next item on the agenda is our grants. I'm going to pass it on to the illustrious and ever motivational Tommy Mills, your vice president and soon to be president-elect, our grants committee chair. Tommy.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone, and just want to echo what Dan have said, and Keith, welcome you, whether you be an incumbent or a new trustee. We have an awesome opportunity to serve the youth of this great Florida district. And as a trustee, I think Millard Fuller with the Habitat for Humanity said it best. We have an opportunity to raise funds, to provide an opportunity for our children. But our task is to get the money from those who have to those who don't have, and especially those who don't have a voice. As we look at our grants, it doesn't just happen automatically. The mantle has been passed to us as 2021, 2022 to make a difference. And as a trustee, we have an opportunity to meet our motto. We know that Kiwanians are a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world one child, one community at a time. And out of our 27 divisions in our district, let's make a difference this year. Let's make sure that the needs of the kids in our division doesn't go lacking. We have the grants, they're there, they're available. And let's look within our divisions and let's spend the money to help the youth and to help our clubs and our communities improve opportunities for our kids to do better. Allison. Our mini grants, primarily it was designed for smaller clubs. In past years, we've raised it from 500 to 750 per request until the budget amount is expended. And it's first come, first serve, and it's a quick response. It's a one pager. When you say grants, most people get nervous. No need to get nervous. I'm here. All you have to do is call. We can help you fill it out. We'd like for you to do it right the first time, because if you do it right the first time, we get your money to you a whole lot quicker. And my phone number is always available. You can always call me. You can text me, but I prefer a call. I'm just from the old school. The quicker you call me, the quicker I can get back to you, and the quicker we can get the money to you. The money is there to be spent. Thanks to our great Florida Kiwanis Foundation this year, we've added an additional $10,000 to that pot of money starting October 1. And it's all through your generous giving. And we're going to ask you to continue to help us to solicit others. And I thank you, Keith. Keith pointed out that one individual that given us a big donation to ensure that kids were needs are met wasn't even a Kiwanian. So we have an opportunity. Don't just ask Kiwanians only, but anyone who's willing. Remember, the Florida Kiwanis Foundation is a 501(c)(3) at the end of the year giving. We might not have a slot. We might not send you letters soliciting, but you can always give. And that money, the individuals that went ahead of me and Dan and others have said, let's make sure that we not only become a bank or hold money, but we give the money back. Next, please, Allison. Matching grants at club level, division grants, guidelines, the procedures, and upon award of the grant application, it can be up to, the next page is going to tell us it's up to $10,000 for our matching grant. That was a little bit more difficult, but we are here to assist you and to help you to get that grant application done and through. If you see a need and feel like it's worthwhile, if you'll just call, we'll make it happen. We'll get that grant pushed through. We'll get it written to a point to where it's acceptable. And then the committee will have to make a decision on that. And it depends on how many have asked for that money that particular time. So next, please. Matching grants fund, you can ask for up to $10,000. Once, if you receive that grant in that year, it's once every 5 years. The project is primarily a capital expenditure, 3 to 5 years in life, preferably more. Must be supportive of the foundation, give adequate PR to the foundation, and given out on 2 cycles. December the 15th is the deadline for the first, and then June the 15th is the deadline for submission on the second one. There are X amount of dollars that are budgeted for this year, and I don't have those figures. Unfortunately, I just got back from a motorcycle trip to Orlando. I got up at 4 this morning, and I'm working with a brand new computer. My computer went south. They weren't able to save anything, so I got a brand new computer. Only thing I have is operating system on it, nothing else. Allison. Club grants. Any Kiwanis club or division in the Florida district is eligible to apply for a grant. That assistance is in projects that contribute to the achievement of the objects of Kiwanis International. And we know what that is to improve our district and our division and to help them in any way we see fit. You put the grant in and we'll make it happen. Allison. Service leadership programs. We raise money to, and the foundation is the fundraising arm to support our service leadership programs. the support district level leadership training, the K Kids, $2,500 annually, our Builders Club, $2,500 annually, our Key Club, $21,500 annually, and our CKI, $19,000 annually, and our Action Club, $5,000 annually. That's our entire budget. Our future leaders depend on us and our support. That's why it's important for us to work hard and to make a difference. Allison. We have the David and Donna Baitland Fund Grant. It's a service leadership grant up to $1,000. Any service leadership project, the Kiwanis Club and Division, it is for special programs and support leadership and develop for young people with physical disabilities up to $10,000 if granted. Only awarded once every 5 years. It's relatively new, but here again, it's Kiwanians that have went on before us and saw the need. And hopefully you and I will see the need to do something at whatever level we can to improve our Florida Kiwanis Foundation. Allison. The Will and Rachel Blackman Grant. It's a Kiwanis Clubs and Division at either level. Early childhood programs or projects, pregnancy to 5 years of age. Only the Florida Kiwanis Foundation grant, which can include administrative funds. We know Dr. Will as our former national president, and him and his wife have committed themselves to Young Children Priority 1. And we know that if we don't do a great job in our Florida district of serving our young children, then they've already got a system in place that says at 3rd grade, if they can't meet this, then we'll spend our money on corrections. And we don't want to do that. We want to be able to make a difference in our youth life. And that's what our Florida Kiwanis Foundation is really all about, is making a difference. Our next one. There are many opportunities, and we, as we look at, this is a new slide, Alice.
This is. So Tommy, this is the 3 Blackman grants that have been awarded, the 2 cycles. So cycle 1 and cycle 2 this year.
Okay.
So on the left, we have the first one that everyone had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Walter Drew. This is the video that was supported by the Will and Rachel Blackman Fund grant to create. And it's a 9-minute video about play with purpose. And this was shared on Zoom. It's been shared on all of our social media outlets as well as YouTube. And then it's been shared nationwide as Dr. Drew has been engaging in all of these early childhood development speaking engagements throughout the last 6 months, which has been really exciting. And then just this past board meeting, I'll pass it back over to you, Tommy. These are the last 2 that you guys just approved.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next. Any questions for me?
Yes, Tommy, you mentioned for the mini grants,
Yes,
you
sir.
said we have an additional $10,000 in the budget. What is the total now?
45. We had it 35.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Tommy, if I may, that $45,000 becomes effective October 1. And
Yes, sir.
some of you know clubs in your divisions that are interested in applying for mini grants. And they have an upcoming project. Now's the time for them to begin working on the applications, which can be found online.
Absolutely.
But don't submit them until October 1.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Dan. There's one other thing I want to say about the grants. Thanks to Allison, our executive director, our webpage is pretty straightforward. You don't even have to dig into the grants. Once you go to the grant page, you can just scroll down. It gives you an overview of all of the grants. Allison, thank you so much because even a country boy like me can look at it and understand what it is I'm supposed to do very quickly. All right. So, and I say to the trustees, don't be afraid to go to the website. That's going to be your friend. When you get the grant, print out the guidelines, have them beside your side. Don't just sign them and send them. Look at them, make sure that they meet the guidelines before we send them, and call me, and we'll help you get it straight before you send it in, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Let's go back to, yeah, there we go. That concludes our plan program, scheduled program for this evening. We'll be back on tomorrow evening, but I would just open it up for any additional questions by the trustees. And I just gonna ask trustees to ask questions. Feel free to ask at any time. Your officers stand willing and ready to assist you in any way possible to make your year the most successful year ever. And as someone once said, that history is like a ribbon that ties the past to the present,
Yes, sir.
and into the future. So as we enter a new administrative year, I'm going to say our 51st chapter, the book is just about ready to open to start that chapter. And it's in our hands to make great writings, great history in the year ahead.